Questions on 1.1 to 1.4, the review. Looking over the sheet, what things were you trying that you were having some difficulty with? Sure. Now, Mr. Leonard said that there was a mistake. He said it needs to be f of h. So if you want to just change your worksheet so that that is an f of h. So we're going to calculate, so we're going to evaluate the function for f of 5 plus h. We're going to plug in h, f of 5 plus h in for each x in that first part. So we'll do this part in red. So we have 5, and now we replace the x with 5 plus h, and then we have minus, and then we replace the x with 5 plus h, and then it's squared. That takes care of the first f of 5 plus h. We have minus, and now we evaluate the function for f of h. So we replace the first x with h, replace the second x with h, and then it's all over h. Now we're going to go ahead and simplify. So we will distribute the 5 in the first parentheses. So 5 times 5 is 25, and then 5 times h is 5h. And then over here we have to FOIL that 5 plus h and 5 plus h. Then in the blue, we have to distribute the negative through, so we get negative 5h and positive h squared. Then all over h. Now we're going to go ahead and FOIL the 5 plus h and the 5 plus h. So we get 25 plus 5h plus 5h plus h squared. So that parentheses is now FOILed out. Now we still have negative 5h plus h squared over h. Now let's look and see if some things might cancel.
H squared.
Any terms cancel. Maybe we should distribute first and then do our canceling. So let's distribute that negative through to that big parentheses in the red. And then we'll see some things cancel. So 25 plus 5h, we're going to distribute the negative in all the terms. So minus 25, minus 5h, minus 5h, minus h squared. And then we have that minus 5h and plus h squared at the end. All right. Start canceling.
H squared, 25.
H squareds cancel.
One of the 5h squares.
25s cancel. One of the 5h's cancel. And we're left with 2 of the negative 5h's. So they've combined together to give us
Negative 10h.
negative 10h over h.
10 over 1.
And then the h's
Cancel.
cancel. So we're left with negative 10. Be careful on those when you do your multiplying and combining like terms. Take your time on that type of problem. Next question. What things do you look at on these 16 problems that look unfamiliar to you?
13, just because
13? Great question. Got a little fuzzy when I was pulling that from a thing. Maybe I'll just rewrite it. So we have f of x, and then in the numerator we have a square root of x plus 6, and then the denominator we have 6 plus x. So let's focus on the numerator first. So we think about what would cause a problem in that numerator. What kind of numbers can I not plug in? So you could do guessing and checking, which sometimes isn't the nicest way to do it. Or you can think of, problems happen when I have a negative square root. So I don't want it to be a negative. I don't want numbers less than 0. So if I look at the domain restriction for this, x plus 6 must be greater than or equal to 0. If I get less than 0, it's now a negative number. Square root a negative number, non-real answer. Now it throws into an imaginary set. So then we would solve this inequality for x. So we would subtract 6 from both sides. Now let's check. If I plug in negative 6 into that radicand, negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. That's a real number. If I go at a number larger than that, let's say negative 5, negative 5 plus 6 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. If I go the opposite, smaller than this, then it becomes a negative number. So there's the first part of our domain. Now we have another issue when we have a fraction. This denominator, x, or 6 plus x, what do we not want to have happen there?
6.
A 0 in the denominator. So what would make that denominator 0? Negative 6. So the other restriction is x cannot be negative 6. So then just to kind of finish up our answer, the domain is x has to be greater than or equal to negative 6, and x cannot be negative 6.
Seems like it would just be easier to write x is greater than negative 6.
Yeah, it can't include negative 6, so greater, but it could be like negative 6.111. Yeah. Yeah. Next question. Let's see. 7, okay. To make a long distance call, a phone costs 50 cents for the first minute. So if you pick up, you have to pay 50 cents. And then each additional minute is 20 cents. Express the cost C as a function of time.
Isn't there a formula for this?
It's a linear function.
AB squared.
So there is a cost, a function as time. So we want to write that as a function. So where do we start at? What's our initial amount? 50 cents. And then each additional minute, so each additional time is 20 cents. So there's our function. Then it says find the cost of 22. What is that saying in a word problem?
See, plug in
22 in for t, which is 22 minutes. So that's fine, and then what does it mean? So what does it mean? It's how much does it cost for 22 minutes on the phone?
But wouldn't it have to be 20t plus 30 because the first minute is 50 cents and then after that it's 20?
I don't know. I think you pick up the call and then each additional.
if
It's
the
kind
of-
cost
Each
50 cents
additional,
to pick it up.
It's
and then
50 cents for the first minute, and then the second minute would be 20 cents, third minute 20 cents. So if it's that would give you that as 70 cents for the first minute.
Mm-hmm. So really, it's how much does it cost for what time?
No, it's We'll do 70 cents for the first 2 minutes.
70 cents for the first 2 minutes.
So that has to be 0.2 T plus 30.3. Because
Why?
otherwise, because the first minute you're calling,
She's already adding the .50
Okay.
there. It's .50. That's to pick up the phone, and then plus 20 every additional minute. So if there's 5 additional minutes, 20 times 5, and the .50 is already being added into it.
so we're saying a T is the additional minutes, not the number of minutes total.
Mhm.
Okay.
So how
Sorry.
much is the cost with 22 minutes? And then we would just evaluate the function for time. And then to find the zero of the function, do you remember how to find the zero of the function? Set it to 0 and solve for x. And that's going to be your x-intercept. So if we say c of 22, we say 0.50 plus 0.20 times 22. Then just use your calculator and simplify that. And then I'll just set up this one for you, and then I'll let you do the rest. So 0.50 plus 0.20, and then solve it. Next question. A lot of the first page is dealing with lines. Yes, ma'am. 10. Number 10. List the types of symmetry. Given we have a y equals x cubed minus 1.
1 second. Thank you.
So on your notes, we asked you to test symmetry. And I kind of had it in like 3 pieces. So we have x-axis symmetry, y-axis symmetry, and the origin. How do we test for each of those? What do we do? What section does that follow from? We plug numbers in, yep. What section does this come from? 1.3? I want you to go back and look in your notes. 1.3. What do we do to check for symmetry?
Make y.
Who has found it? Yes? Very good. So, I kind of think opposite. Instead of test for x-axis symmetry, did you find it? Replace which one? The y. So we're going to go negative y here. Oh, my smartboard's getting a little bit. To test for y-axis symmetry, what do we do? Negative x. And then what do we do with the origin? Both of them. I gotta calibrate it.
That gets to show up on the video. but-
It sure does.
It does.
Oh.
I think I should just stop this. Alright, there's 14 minutes. Pretty big anyways.
It's still going.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.